Contact us to avail the combo offer of General Studies and Public Administration optional with 20% discount.
Hello everyone, welcome to Lukman IAS. In this series, we are discussing the previous year questions of UPSC prelims examination, and today we are going to cover medieval Indian history. So now let us see the questions that we are going to cover during the day. Okay, so today we are going to cover questions from these topics. One of the topic is based on feudal system. Then we will understand about third battle of Panipat. Then we will take a question related to the Babur's arrival in India. Then we will look into a question with reference to the Vijayanagar Empire, okay? And after then we will look into a question from, Fatehpur Sikri. So we are going to understand these topics, and these topics are part of the prelim syllabus that says History of India and Indian National Movement, okay? So with this, now let us take the first question for the day. Okay. So this question was asked by UPSC in the year of 2015. Now let us read this question. It says, with reference to Indian history, which of the following is or are essential element or elements of feudal system? Okay. Here we need to understand what is feudal system. Okay. Feudal system is a kind of system where there was cooperation, okay, between a feudal lord and his overlord. Okay, let me tell you how. Okay, so on one hand there were feudal lord, okay, and on the other hand there was overlord. Who was overlord? Overlord was a person who was either a king or a monarch, means like he was at the higher authority. Okay, so feudal lord was located at a higher position, so he was a higher authority, okay, but like they had a relationship of cooperation with one another. Okay, what kind of cooperative relationship did they have? The overlord used to give land, okay, land to the feudal lords, okay, and these lands are also known as fief. Okay, they are known as FIEF. Fief means a kind of land grant, okay, in lieu of certain kind of services. Means the overlord used to give land to the feudal lord, okay, for the services that the feudal lord has to give to the overlord. What type of services generally they used to give? They used to provide, military support. Military support means they used to provide their army personnel, in the service of overlord. So this was a kind of give and take relationship. Okay, so it was based on mutual cooperation. It was decentralized authority, means like, the overlord used to give power, okay, to the feudal lord to administer their area, and the overlord used to give land to the feudal lords. Okay, so this was a kind of, land was a kind of fees for the services that the overlord used to get. Okay, so it is also known as fief. Okay, so having understood this particular thing, which it is known as feudal system. Okay, feudal system. Feudal lords are also known as vassals. Okay, they are also known as vassals or vassals. Okay, like that. It is also, they are also known as vassals. Now having understood this, let us read this question and we will try to answer this question. First statement says, a very strong centralized political authority and a very weak provincial or local political authority. Okay, so was it a relationship? Was it a feudal? Was it an essential element of feudal relationship? No. Here we have seen that when we talk about the feudal system, so this central authority was not very strong and the feudal lords were not very weak. Okay, so they were, they were of almost similar powers, but the thing is feudal lord was more powerful. Okay, so there was a relationship of give and take. It was not very centralized authority and it was not a very weak authority. So that's why statement 1 is incorrect. If statement 1 is incorrect, we can eliminate option A and we can eliminate option D. Okay, with this, now let us read the second statement that says emergence of administrative structure based on control and possession of land. Yes, definitely it was the thing. Means here the feudal lord was assigned land, okay, by the overlord. So on the basis of the land assignment, so he was assigned land, and he used to get, you know, rent on these lands, and he used to maintain, okay, army personnel, and he also used to give, you know, army personnel in the service of overlord. So the thing is, there was an emergence of administrative structure based on control and possession of land. Okay, so who was in the control and possession of land? Feudal lords were in control and possession of land. Okay, then if we talk about the third statement says creation of lord vassal relationship between feudal lord and his overlord. Okay, so this is also correct. So statement 2 and 3 are correct. That means option B is the right answer for this question. Okay, so in your free time you should, you know, look forward and see again what is feudal, you know, system. Okay, I have explained you over here, but in your free time try to revise it. Okay, correct answer was B for this question. With this, now let us take another question for the day. Okay, so this question was asked by UPSC in the year of 2010. Let us read this question. Okay, it says, what was the immediate reason for Ahmad Shah Abdali to invade India and fight the third battle of Panipat? Okay, here now they are asking the reason, okay, for Ahmad Shah Abdali to invade India and fight the third battle of Panipat. So this question is, you know, from third battle of Panipat. Okay, here they are asking like what was the reason for which, you know, Ahmad Shah Abdali has invaded India, and at the same time he has, you know, he has fought the third battle of Panipat. Okay, so we are going to understand the reason, and at the same time we are also going to understand about the third battle of Panipat. Okay, so what was the reason? So what has happened in 1758, which year? 1758, the Marathas, okay, the Marathas under the control of Raghunath Rao, okay, or like Marathas under the leadership of Raghunath Rao, what they did, they, you know, went to the Punjab region. Okay, so they crossed the Punjab and drove. Okay, so they crossed Punjab and they fought with one person. His name is Timur Shah. Okay, so Marathas crossed Punjab and they, you know, forced Timur Shah to run away. Okay, so, you know, so Marathas crossed Punjab and they forced Timur Shah to run away, and Timur Shah was the prince. Okay, and he was the son of Ahmad Shah Abdali. Ahmad Shah Abdali was a very powerful king at that point of time. He was based, you know, somewhere else. He was not located in the Punjab region. He has assigned, you know, Timur Shah the governorship of the Punjab region. So once, you know, Marathas have, you know, like fought with Timur Shah, so Ahmad Shah Abdali thought that like it was an attack on the authority. Okay, they were challenging, like Ahmad Shah Abdali thought like, you know, Marathas have challenged the authority of Ahmad Shah Abdali. So that's why he came back after 3 years. This particular incident has happened in 1758, but after 3 years in 1761, okay, he came back and he fought the third battle of Panipat with Marathas. Okay, and in that battle he has defeated Marathas. Okay, so when did the third battle of Panipat happened? It happened on 14th of January. Okay, it happened on 14th of January. Okay, 1761. Okay, between whom? On one side there was Ahmad Shah Abdali. Okay, and on the other side there were Marathas. Okay, so Ahmad Shah Abdali's forces were also supported by, you know, some native rulers over here. Okay, native Indian rulers. So who supported Ahmad Shah Abdali? We are going to you know, see it, and before this let us, you know, like let us clean all of it. Okay. Okay. So Marathas, in the third battle of Panipat, on one side there were Marathas. Okay, and on the other side there were Afghans. Okay, Afghans led by Ahmad Shah Abdali, and Ahmad Shah Abdali was supported by Rohillas. Okay, he was supported by Rohillas. Okay, second thing, Rohillas means Rohillas were under the leadership of Nazib-ud-Dawla. Okay, he was under the leadership of Nazib-ud-Dawla. Okay. Apart from this, there were three more powers that have supported the Afghans. One of the power was Afghans of the Doab region and Nawab of Awadh. Okay. Then we had Nawab of Awadh. Then we had one more power, Shuja-ud-Dawla. Shuja-ud-Dawla. Okay, and Afghans of Doab region. So like on one side there were Marathas under the leadership of Raghunath Rao. On the other side, there were Afghans. So in that battle, the Afghans led by Ahmad Shah Abdali has defeated the Marathas. Okay, so here now they are asking what was the reason. Okay, what was the reason of the third battle of Panipat? The reason was that he wanted to avenge the expulsion by Marathas of his viceroy Timur Shah from Lahore. Okay, so Timur Shah was the viceroy who was based in Lahore, and so Marathas had crossed the Punjab region and they have forced Timur Shah to run away from that particular location. Okay, so that's why correct answer for this question is option A. So having understood this, now let us take another question for the day. Okay, this is an important question from medieval Indian history. Okay, so this question was asked by UPSC in the year of 2015. Okay, let us read this question. It says, consider the following. The arrival of Babur into India led to the, okay, so like Babur has arrived in India, and what changes has happened since he arrived in India. Okay, now they have given three statements. We have to find out the correct statement. One, they are saying introduction of gunpowder in the subcontinent. This statement is incorrect because although Babur has used gunpowder in the battles, but Babur was not the first person who introduced gunpowder in the subcontinent. Okay, gunpowders were introduced in the subcontinent by the by the foreign powers in the 13th century 13th century CE itself. So it was introduced by the Mongols in the invasion in 1258. Okay, in 1258 AD, Mongols had invaded in India, and they have introduced gunpowder in the subcontinent. And in that particular invasion by Mongols, the ruler was Hulegu Khan. His name is Hulegu Khan. Okay, so Hulegu Khan was a person who had invaded, or attacked in India at that point of time. Okay, so Babur was not the first person to to introduce the gunpowder. So if statement 1 is incorrect, we can eliminate option A, we can eliminate option C, and we can eliminate option D. So correct answer for this question is option B. Okay, establishment of Timurid dynasty in the region. Okay, so when Babur came to India, he has established Timurid dynasty in the region. So he was a person from Timurids itself. And if we talk about second statement, it says introduction of ark and dome in the region. Okay, this is incorrect because ark and dome was introduced. Okay, it was introduced by the Mamluk Sultans or Mamluk dynasty. Okay, so one of the prominent example is the Qutub complex in Delhi. Okay, so if we see the Qutub complex, it was introduced by the Mamluks. Okay, it was not introduced by Okay, it was not introduced by Babur. So that's why correct answer for this question is option B. Okay, so having understood this, now let us understand another question. Okay, so this question was asked by UPSC in the year of 2016. Okay, 2016. This question says, regarding the taxation system of Krishna Deva, the ruler of Vijayanagar, consider the following statements. Okay, now they are asking about taxation system of Krishna Deva. Krishna Deva was the ruler of Vijayanagar Empire. Okay, so we will understand about Vijayanagar Empire. Okay, so Vijayanagar Empire is located in the current, present state of Karnataka. Okay, so like if we talk about Vijayanagar Empire of that time, and if we talk about current day Karnataka, so that was the location of Vijayanagar Empire. Okay, so that was the central location, I would say. Okay, so Vijayanagar Empire was established by Harihara Raya and Bukka Raya. Okay, so it was established by Harihara Raya and Bukka Raya. Okay, and these two people like Harihara and Bukka, they were from the Tuluva dynasty. Okay, they were from Tuluva dynasty. So the Vijayanagar Empire was ruled by 4 different dynasties. Okay, one of the dynasty is known as Sangama dynasty, Saluva dynasty, Tuluva dynasty and Aravidu dynasty. Okay, so I'll write names of those dynasties also, so that you can write them down, and at the same time we need to understand that Harihara Raya and Bukka Raya has, okay, they have established the Vijayanagar Empire in 1336 AD. Okay, they have established in 1336 AD. Okay, this was the time period when they had established the Vijayanagar Empire. Okay, so if we talk about the taxation system, okay, so the tax rate on the land was fixed depending on the quality of the land. Okay, quality of the land means was under the Krishna Deva Raya in the Vijayanagar Empire, for assessing the tax on the rent, what they used to do, on one hand they used to check whether the land is fertile or not. If the land is fertile, so there will be higher tax. If the land is not fertile, there will be lower tax. And apart from this, they used to check another parameter, the location of the land, how prominent location is that land located. Okay, if the land was located at a very good place, so it used to have attract higher taxes as compared to our land which is located at far off places. Okay, so that's why statement 1 is correct. If we talk about statement 2, it says private owners of workshops paid an industries tax. Yes, this is also correct, because industries tax was also applicable at that point of time. Okay, so that's why both these statements are correct, and correct answer for this question is option C. So now I am going to write down names of those dynasties that have ruled the Vijayanagar Empire. Okay, just for you, so that you can take a note out of it, and it will help you in answering questions in future in the examination. One of the kingdom was Sangama. Okay, Sangama dynasty. Second one was Suluva dynasty. Third one was Tuluva dynasty. Then fourth one was Aravidu. Okay, so these were the 4 dynasties that have ruled in the Vijayanagar Empire. Okay, so having understood this, now let us take another question for the day. Okay, so this question was asked by UPSC in the year of 2014. Let us understand this question. It says Ibadat Khana at Fatehpur Sikri was. Okay, so you might have heard about Ibadat Khana. Okay, so what has happened, if we talk about Fatehpur Sikri and the Ibadat Khana, so it was established by Akbar. Okay, so it was established by the Mughal ruler Akbar. When? It was established in 1575 AD. Okay, Akbar has established Ibadat Khana in 1575 AD in Fatehpur Sikri. Okay, and why was Ibadat Khana established? Ibadat Khana is also known as house of worship. Okay, It is also known as house of worship. So what used to happen in this house? Okay, so Akbar used to invite people from different religions, okay, scholars of different religions like Jainism, Buddhism, religions like Zoroastrianism, religions like Hinduism, okay. So he used to invite scholars from all different religions to have discussions with them, okay, so that like he could understand more about different religions. That's why Akbar is considered to be one of the most tolerant ruler of his time, okay, under the Mughal Empire, okay. So Akbar used to discuss about the importance of scriptures in different religions by having scholarly discussions with the scholars of these religions, okay. So this particular house of worship, which is also known as Ibadat Khana, was used by Akbar, okay, to held discussions with the scholars of various religions, okay. So it was a hall in which Akbar used to held discussions with the scholars of different religions. So that's why correct answer for this question is option C, okay, option C. Okay, so with this we have come to an end of today's discussion. Thank you so much everyone for attending this session. I hope you have a great day ahead. Thank you.
Contact us to avail the combo offer of General Studies and Public Administration optional with 20% discount.